still for a couple seconds. All right, welcome back to the War Room. My name is Dillon Jewett, alongside Pierce Allen for the first time in a long time. So glad to have you back, Pierce. So today we're going to be talking, but we're going to be continuing our summer scouting series, talking about interior defensive linemen today. Uh, I think I mentioned it last week. Hopefully, we'll get a Yush on for a summer scouting episode as well. I think he's going to do quarterbacks with me and potentially wide receivers as well. We'll see on that. But and then Pierce, you're going to be doing uh, running backs with me. Hopefully here in a week. So we'll do that. But you called me up, and it's been a while since we did an episode together. And even though you haven't watched these guys, I was like, let's just get him on the pod. So,
Yeah,
welcome back. Glad to have you.
glad to be
So even
back.
though you might just be sitting there and looking pretty, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how we can throw you in here. But ask, throw out whatever you got, man. Let's put me on the spot.
Hmm.
This is a good class. I'll preface it that way. I mean, this is a good interior defensive line class. I know some people have been underwhelmed by it, but the deeper I went, the more I liked it. It also helped that I view a couple of these edge rushers because I also watched the edge rushers and I slid over a number of these guys over to interior defensive linemen. I have a couple guys that are, listed as edge rushers and, perceived as edge rushers by the mass media. I bumped over into a 4I position. And then, yeah, actually a few of them, a decent handful of guys. And that doesn't mean that I, dislike them as players. It just means I prefer them as an interior guy. So I'll get around to that here in a minute. Actually, not too long from now. But and also before I get attacked, I will say I am someone who does like to keep it real. I like to use my eyes and I like to say it how I see it. So I do have a couple guys, particularly the guy at number 9, that um, maybe not where you think he's going to be. Maybe someone that you thought was going to be a little higher on my board. That's an edge rusher that I have bumped in at interior. But um, let's get this ball rolling, man. Right after the introduction, we can dive into edge rusher number 10. All right, man. So, um, let's do it, man. So we got number 10, Christian Miller out of Georgia. I think he's gonna be a 3 tech. I have verified him from verified measurements on him at 6'3 and 3/4, so 6036 is how it's read in the scouting community. 305 pounds. He's gonna be a senior this year, and this isn't the most exciting player to watch. He does have some, I guess, boring, bland, vanilla traits uh, to his game, but he gets the job done. This is one of those dudes that's like, you're not always expecting some dude that's gonna go out there and make the sexy plays on tape, but he's able to go out there, take care of business, and be able to hold his own in terms of what he's being asked to do within the defense. But I like his hands. I like his ability to rush the passer, even though he only had 1 sack last year. I think that's going to start to creep up a little bit. I think that he does have good pass rush ability and capability in terms of his moves. Decent tackler who's able to close on the ball, plug up gaps, able to shed blocks, get into the rushing lane, make a play. He's able to anchor down, stay put, and not get moved off, off of where he needs to be in terms of being able to, be in position to make the play. Um, a little low on experience. I think that this is going to be a big year for him to be able to go out there and get some more reps. He was playing behind, a couple guys that, man, I mean, Nazir Stackhouse coming out of Georgia last year. I didn't. There was some hype for him early on, like this time last year. I never saw it, and for some reason, Georgia kept giving him reps. I think there's a couple guys that could have gotten a little bit more play time in there, and Christian Miller should have been one of them. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to say about him. It's just this is a guy that's probably gonna get drafted on day midway through day three. He'll go in there, make a couple plays, take care of business. So I think that this is probably gonna be a good like fifth round type guy when it's all said and done. Maybe he
Mm.
takes a leap, but yeah. So um, so Christian Miller at 10, uh, Ruben Bain. Now this is where the heat comes. So Ruben Bain had a big year in. Hang on one second. So Ruben Bain had a big year in 2023. Comes out, gets 9 sacks. 2024 tape, big step back. 4 sacks. Just overall wasn't as productive, wasn't as much of a difference maker. A lot of missed tackles, a lot of just not being exactly where he needs to be. Not as effective getting after the passer, and um, albeit he has good hands whenever it comes to pass rush. Uh, Good placement, a little bit of a plan, um, good hand quickness and grip strength. He can kind of every once in a while he has those plays where he just rocks the offensive lineman's world in terms of his hand strength and getting into the chest of the offensive lineman. He is able to work inside and outside as a pass rusher, which is something I like to see. Um, like I said, I did move a couple edge rushers inside to interior defensive linemen. This was one of them. So I think he's going to be a 4-eye type of guy. Some people think he's just a pure 3 tech. Um, he does remind me of Kalijah Cansey, which is a pretty common comp for him. I got Jonathan Allen particularly as my comp, so
Mm.
not too far off. And I will mention I do run with stylistic comps as opposed to direct apples to apples comps. We're comparing a college guy to an NFL guy. I don't always think that's fair to put certain expectations on these guys. So that's kind of how I view it. But foot quickness, a little disappointing. Something I wish I would have seen a little bit more from. I think that can, eventually run himself off base. But we're looking at an okay athlete. I mean, he has good functional strength, particularly in his upper half. Not a lot of flexibility in there, which is another reason why it's just like, let's just bump him on inside. At the very least, we're looking at somewhere between a 3 tech and a 5 tech. I think 4-eye tech is right where he belongs. Good at seeing the field. I think that even though he did take some steps back, even as a run defender last year, I do think that he's going to be a good run defender when it's all said and done at the pro level. He doesn't have elite, acceleration or anything in terms of his get off, but he is able to time the snap, and he does have, good enough acceleration to be able to, initially make cover ground in order to get towards the quarterback. This is a high effort player who um, who really wants to see contact. So I like that about him. He will cover all bases. He'll do whatever he needs to do for that defense to have success. Um, Decent, I guess an average tackler, but he is able to close on the ball carrier pretty well. Get where he needs to be. Sometimes misses in terms of his wrap up and form, but um, he's able to at the very least slow down the ball carrier. So I do like that, but I do just have a lot of questions about the upside. I don't quite see it. I think that obviously last year was a great year, and that's a lot. That's a lot of what these Ruben Bain stands are uh, banking off of, but I don't see it. I know that, there's a lot of people that would say that Bain is a top three defensive lineman in his class. I don't see it that way. And I have him at 9 on my interior guys. So maybe eventually, but not right now. So Dante Corleone, Cincinnati, this has been someone that's been on a lot of, scouts' radars for a while. Um, Ended up coming back to school last year. He did have some, um, and he had a heart, he had a pulmonary embolism, is what it's called. So that was some basically blood clots. So he had to deal with that early on last year. Um, wrapped that whole thing up and basically just went back to playing football. And he played okay. He wasn't quite as good as I watched in previous tape, but good hands. I really like his knockback in terms of grip strength and hand strength. Plays really low to the ground. He is 6'1", 320. He might even be a tick under 6'1", in terms of height. So I think that does help him with creating natural leverage. He's not the best athlete, but he's really freaking strong. And that's where the majority of his game is. He's going to be a one tech at the pro level, and he does have a lot of strength to be able to take care of business, hold his ground, drop his weight, anchor, and two gap as a run defender. So, and he's able to tackle fairly well, close on the ball carrier, shed blocks, get where he needs to be. Pass rush wise, you're not gonna get a lot of juice from him. He's not gonna go out there and get you 7 sacks a year. He's a one tech. He's gonna play like a one tech, and he's gonna take care of business. Not a sexy pick here whenever it comes to the NFL draft, but he'll probably be 5th round guy, maybe a 4th round guy. This is a guy that like Pierce. I mean, we're unfortunately Cowboys fans. This is a guy that Dallas could go out there 5th rounds and drop him in behind Mozzie Smith. And this is your depth piece at nose tackle, and I'm totally cool with that. That's what he is.
Could be
He's
a
a good
replacement.
depth guy, and and I think he'll take care of business. So, Dante Corleone at 8. Moving on to we got DeMonte Capehart at 7. This is an interesting one. I liked him a lot more up front. I think the more I got into watching his tape, I became a little bit less, excited about what I was seeing. This is a true one tech. I think so. We have a little bit of an injury background here, particularly in this past year. Nothing long term, but had an ankle injury, probably high ankle sprain or something like that. Bumped him out of a couple weeks last year. He got booked for an unlawful possession of a firearm on school property last year. So a little bit of questionable off the field. So this is a good tackler who can shed blocks. That's really all he is. I mean, there's some upside as a pass rusher, not a ton. I don't think that this is ever going to be a pass rusher that's going to go out there and get you a bunch of sacks. This is just going to be a dude that's going to be able to be used in stunts, hold his ground. He's 6'4.25", so 6'04.2" is his height, 315 in terms of weight. This is gonna be just a dude that uses his brute strength to be able to two gap, hold his own, and take care of business. Clemson has such a deep defensive line, and this is just one dude that gets, I mean, not necessarily lost in the mix, but he doesn't get the credit he deserves. I have a 5th round grade on him, which in summer scouting kind of equates to possibly like a 3rd round grade when it's all said and done in the NFL draft. So that's kind of where he's going to be, and he doesn't necessarily get the credit for that because of Peter Woods, because of TJ Parker, so much talent on that D line. So number 6. This is where we're starting to get deeper onto the kind of dudes in this class. Tyreek Sapp, I moved him in. I have him I think he's gonna be a 4i at the pro level. This dude's build is kind of crazy, man. He he has this like jacked body. You can tell how much functional strength and how much emphasis he puts on being in the gym and adding on muscle. So 602 5 is the height. So 6'2" and 5/8, 275 pounds, verified. Um, Pass rush wise, he had 8 sacks last year. I don't think he's quite as good of a pass rusher as that number entails, but um, he's competent enough to be able to get pressure on the quarterback. He's able to close as a run defender, um, make comfortable tackles and hold his own in that end. Uh, he, I mean, he just checks a lot of boxes, man. I think that a lot of it has to do with just his height and weight. He's going to go out there and take care of business. He plays patient and fairly patient in the run game, and has a high uh, competition, highly competitive nature to his game. So he's going to play through the whistle, do everything that he needs to do, and do it with a lot of just brute strength and holding his own as a run defender. And that's why I think if you bump him inside to 4i, he's going to be able to be really competent in that type of role and take care of business. So, all right, so on to number 5, and these are the guys that really get the flowers right now. Except for there's one guy that in this top 5 that is going to be a little bit of a I guess lesser known name, but Zane Durant is going to sit at number 5. Interior defensive lineman out of Penn State. Got him at 6'3", so he's a little bit on the shorter side. 288 pounds. This dude is Penn State athlete. This is exactly kind of that type of dude. Really fast. Quick get off. Good functional strength at 288 pounds. I think it does help that he's one of those high BMI guys, really compact build, able to go in there and just drive offensive linemen back into the pocket, make pressure, create pressure that way, in addition to a number of other ways. So he is a good pass rusher. I think as a run defender, not the best. I think that's because of more discipline-based stuff. He'll shoot gaps. He won't necessarily see the ball very well. He does struggle to locate at times where the ball is. So kind of a pin your ears back and get after the passer out of the 3-tech type of guy. I do think his tackle form can get a little out of whack, which that just adds into his occasional struggles as a run defender. I got a 4th round grade on him right now. Not someone that I think is going to go out there and light it up and be a first rounder. But I do think that this is a guy that when it's all said and done, we could be looking at a potential 2nd round guy who can rush the passer predominantly and just take care of business. I got a Byron Murphy comp on him. Again, that's stylistic. That's not, I'm not saying that, like I just said, that he's not going to be a first round grade guy when it's all said and done. But I will note, I did get a lot of feedback in my research saying that Zane Durant is a high character guy. So I do like that about him. This is someone that could go into the locker room and take care of business in that sense and check that box. But now this is the last guy that I moved over from edge rusher into the interior, and that's LT Overton, Alabama, edge rusher. So I moved him in. I think he's going to be a 4i, just like I said for a lot of these guys. Edge rusher moved into interior guys. 4i is really where I see the majority of these guys. So LT Overton, 6'3" and 3/4, 283 pounds, verified there. So I like the way that he's able to defend the run. He's a decent tackler, or particularly a good closer on the football. I think that he does offer wrap up form and checking the box in that sense. excellent, excellent competitiveness and read and react ability. This is the dude that is able to make any play that is necessary and kind of, he's willing to, and he gets there. He takes care of business. Sees the ball sees the field really well, plays patiently, um, and I mean he plays to the whistle pretty well. Great functional strength, upper and lower half. Yeah, I think it's just you have this really dense, compact frame that it leads into that. Not the best athlete overall. He's a little more flexible than you'd expect, but not the fastest guy. Not going to um, like speed by you in any sense. He doesn't have the best get off, but he is a competent um, he is a competent player whenever it comes to just being in his spot. So that kind of helps him get by with his good, decent, not good athletic ability. Buy scripts for hands, a lot of knockback. He can wreck your world if you're an offensive lineman at times. Plays with really great leverage. So I think that there's a lot of tools here for LT Overton. I have a fourth round grade on him now. I know that there's a lot of emphasis from the community, from the draft community, that this could be a first round draft pick. I'm not quite there with him, but I do see upside with him. I think that he just has a lot more work to do, and another year in the Alabama defense could be enough to do that. Get him up into this first round territory and be exactly where he needs to be. Number three, Caleb Banks. This is a really good player. I liked him a little bit more initially, but with a little bit more of a look at him, I started to drop his grade, especially in I do whenever I am watching through these positions. There are times where I start to get further down the board, and it's just like, okay, now I got to move this guy down a little bit. It's not because I don't view him as this caliber of a defensive lineman, but the more I went down the board, he just started to slide a little bit. So, Caleb Banks, interior defensive lineman for Florida. This is probably going to be a first round grade or first round guy whenever it's all said and done. 6'5" and 5'8". So this is a tall dude, 325 pounds. I think that this is. I mean, he's a little shorter, but this is everything that you expected Deion Walker, the Kentucky kid last year, to be. Chris Jones is a comp in terms of style. So there's a lot of those types of uh, plays and movements by Caleb Banks on a snap to snap basis. I love his hands. I love the way that he places his hands, uses his hands, and hand quickness, hand strength. Just a pure check on that element of his game. Good feet. Plays a little bit high at times. Um, Good get off. I don't think he's going to go out there and run a 4.7, which is excellent for a defensive lineman, but I do think that he's going to record a good 10-yard split, probably just like a 5.2 type of 40-yard dash. Good athlete all around. Great functional strength. Able to use decent instincts on a play-to-play basis. Has good upper body flexibility. Um, uh, can time up the snap. Combine that with his initial quickness. He's able to make plays in that sense. Sees the field well, knows where to be in relation to the ball. Highly competitive player who is able to play through the whistle, make plays, and sometimes his tackling ability, his form does get a little out of whack, but he's decent in that capacity as well. So he's able to. This is a guy that is going to be able to add, a full, well-rounded skill set to the field. He's able to rush the passer. He's able to um, make the play, tackle and close, block, stack and shed. Um, Highly competent player in a lot of facets. I think that there's a couple things here and there that he could work on that are going to help him get into the first round category that we expect from him, which is particularly pad level, which is which is going to be just patience and more discipline in his gap, being better at just the read and reactability and tackle form. I think if he can just take a couple steps forward in those particular areas, this is going to be a first round draft pick. Number two, this is someone that I really enjoyed watching. I think the last guy I watched from this group, and I really enjoyed his film. Um, so Iowa State's Dominic Orange. I think he's gonna be a one tech at the pro level. He's 6'3" and a quarter, 325 pounds. He's able to really do it all, and I there's not really any serious weaknesses that are going to hold him back at the pro level. I just think that he's bound to, um, eventually get his name out there and be much more highly regarded by the draft community. I think that there's a couple guys that are already onto him, but I guess the more advanced scouts in terms of seniority already on this, but in terms of the mass media, Dominic Orange isn't necessarily right there in the middle of the summer scouting. Um, so I do find that a little odd, but he'll get there. Good hand placement can get a little wide, but he does have quick hands with great grip strength, good feet. Plays a little high at times. He's a good athlete. He has great functional strength. I do think that we're looking at adequate acceleration, so nothing huge in terms of his get off, but he does enough there. Flexibility is okay. So really where you're gonna get the type of player that ranks at number 2 in my interior defensive line rankings, really what that is banked off of is just his sheer competitiveness. This is a player that plays to the whistle on an every down basis. He finishes reps, and he does that with so much functional strength and just discipline in general. So I like that about him, and I think that he's going to become potentially an elite run defender, and I think he could become a good pass rusher. He's a good tackler. He's going to be able to shut down plays on the spot, and he's able to close and finish reps. So I do like that about him. This is just someone that's going to get the job done, and he's going to do it well, and he's going to have some plus traits to him in the midst of that. So this is I actually comped him to Mike Pennell. So I think that that's actually possibly exactly what he could become. Just a good pass rusher, that defensive lineman that is able to just go out there and make the right plays when he needs to do it. And that's what Mike Pennell has been for a long time. So I think, and now he's doing that in KC, right up the middle, right next to Chris Jones, and he's been able to become a really good interior defensive lineman. I think that's very much on the table for Dominic Orange. So, all right, on to our last guy. No surprise here, Peter Woods, Clemson interior defensive lineman. Now, this dude is a monster of an athlete at his size. We've gotten a lot of feedback from him from the draft community over the past several months. I mean, there are a number of scouts who have Woods number 1 on their board overall. And I can't quite get there with him. I like him a lot. He's currently number 3 on my board. And I have scouted almost 6 entire positions. So he's going to be most likely a top 10 player when it's all said and done. Actually, scratch that. He's 4 on my board. So he's most likely going to be a top 10 player when it's all said and done once I have everyone evaluated for summer scouting. So this is a incredible athlete at his size. Let me pull up his profile real quick. So he's 6'2" and 3/4, 315 pounds. I think he's going to play 3 tech at the pro level. I am not here for Is he going to play edge rusher? Is he going to play a 5 tech possibly, or even 7 tech? Let's quit it. So this is a 3 tech all the way. I think that this is going to be someone who eventually becomes a high level starter. Um, he doesn't quite have the pedigree yet as a pass rusher with just 3 sacks, but I think that this is going to become a 8 sack type of interior defensive lineman, which is really good. He's able to tackle. He's able to shed blocks and then close on the ball carrier and tackle really well. Very strong player with excellent hands. I love the way that he is able to use his hands. Has a pass rush plan as well, which is kind of unexpected um, for this type of size dude. You just don't expect this much nuance in their hands. He has that. I love his feet. Knows where to step. No false steps on tape. Knows where to step and knows and has the foot quickness to be able to relocate his feet. Uh, Pad level can get a little high at times, but in terms of just his pure athletic ability, man, you're looking at a high level functional strength guy. You're looking at good get off. This is probably going to be like a 4.9 type of guy at the combine, which is insane. Um, Good instincts, decent flexibility at his size, which is an incredible plus. Um, has a pass rush plan, knows how to time up the snap, knows how to see the field and where to be in it. Plays with discipline, knows how to read and react, plug up gaps, um, plays with competitiveness, finishes reps, uh, and he can. I mean, he can tackle. He does it all. This is just a fully well-rounded player that has just plus athleticism. And when you have those types of guys, they go in the first round every time, and that's what he is. So I think Peter Woods has a chance to become a top 5 pick when it's all said and done. I, uh, I think that's very much on the table for him. I, I mean, this Clemson defensive line, man, is just ridiculous. Um,
Yeah.
Devontae Capehart, Peter Woods, T.J. Parker. Uh, I mean, they're all going to be going up against Nuss week 1. I think that's going to be a really exciting game to see these guys. I mean, I mentioned 2 of them today, and I just alluded to T.J. Parker, who I think is the best of the 3 noteworthy Clemson kids on the D line. But it's gonna be really exciting to see them go up against a high caliber team like LSU against Garrett Nussmeier. See what kind of damage they can do. So yeah, so there we go. That's 10 interior defensive linemen. I also let's see, did I watch anyone else? I did. I also watched Darrell Jackson, Florida State. Uh, I think that's this year's Deion Walker. I mean, he's not in terms of, I guess, status, but just in terms of his play style, a lot of that in there. Um, I didn't see enough. I know he's typically a top 10 type of guy in these exercises, but I didn't see that much there for him. I think I see upside. I don't see much more than probably a day 3 pick. Lee Hunter out of Texas Tech. He's gotten a lot of hype so far in the draft cycle. I saw a lot of stiffness in there. Didn't see a lot of nuance to his game. Just a little sloppy. I think that there's potentially upside. I think there's a lot of digging to do. He's with Texas Tech now. He transferred from Georgia Tech this past summer. Bear Alexander out of Oregon, transferring over from USC. This is a name, Pierce. You probably heard this guy's name a couple times, but he just can't get it figured out. This year, this is the kid that with USC this year, he didn't get the play situation that he wanted. So I think it was like before week 1, he's just like, all right, I want to transfer just right before the season starts. That rubs off on me the wrong way. There's been some question marks of character in the past, so hopefully that's false, but that's what I know so far. So,
Who's this?
Bear Alexander.
Oh yeah,
USC,
no,
now he's
yeah,
with
yeah.
Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah, I
think
do
you can see
remember seeing
upside
that.
with him because there's a big there was a big conversation that this dude was just all upside. It's just, can we get his head on straight? He's a 5-star kid out of Texas, and I just saw so many average traits with him. Like, I'm looking at his player card right now, and I just have a lot of fours. I have everything graded out of 7. So I have a lot of fours and a lot of high threes, like 3.9s, 3.8s, and whatnot. It's just an average football player who's combined with not a lot of experience. I mean, just some question marks off the field. I don't see much with him at the moment. I think there's too much digging to really get to that upside, but
Hmm.
hopefully he's able to go out there with Oregon and just take care of business this year. But I had him as an undraftable grade, so but yeah, I guess let's do one more walkthrough real quick with these guys. So I had Christian Miller out of Georgia at 10. I had a 6th round grade on him. Ruben Bain out of Miami at 9. I have a 5th round grade on him. Dante Corleone out of Cincinnati at 8. I had a 5th round grade on him. Demonte Capehart out of Clemson, 5th round grade for him. Number 6 is Tyreek Sapp out of Florida, 4th round grade for him. Zane Durant, Penn State, 4th round grade for him. LT Overton out of Alabama, I had a 4th round grade for him. Caleb Banks out of Florida, 3rd round grade. Dominique Orange, Iowa State, 3rd round grade. Peter Woods, Clemson, 1st round grade. So, and I will mention I do grade a lot more strictly. I mean, in general. So my scale does not like get scaled up for summer scouting. It stays consistent throughout the year. I don't have any like flex. I know some people will curve their grades. At this point, I don't do that. I stay true to my board. This isn't a projection. I'm not saying these 10 players are going to be the 10 best players when it's all said and done for the year. This is as of August 14th, 2025. Those 10 guys that I just mentioned in order are the 10 best interior defensive linemen in my eyes that are draft eligible for 2026. So, yeah. All right, man. Anyways, Pierce, I guess anything come to mind? I know we didn't really involve you in the conversation too much, but anything come to mind about these guys that you want to bring to the table before we head out?
A couple, surprises. I mean, I've got a little bit of a look, but yeah, just the talk of having, I took a second and took a look at Peter Woods, not just tape, but just the overall size. He gives me, um, I'm just blanking on his name, but he wore the same number. Uh, believe
Is it same
he wore the
number? Are you
same.
thinking of Breezy? Brian Breezy? Breezy? Brother? Because I think Brazil were 11. Yeah. Yeah, he did. But I think we lost him. All right. Well, anyways, thank you guys for listening. Yeah, I know it got a little messy right there. We lost Pierce, but yeah, I mean, this is a good group, a good list of interior defensive linemen. I think that they're going to have a lot of success at the pro level. So, um, anyways, thank you guys for joining in. Hopefully, we'll be back with another show here in a little bit. But yeah, until next time.